Thank you for joining us in our celebration of the Holy Week. The introduction of it came together for us yesterday. Officially, in our ministry, we end Lent yesterday. Now the high days of fasting and prayer, of spiritual direction, of encounter with God and with Christ Jesus himself begins today, this evening. Sometimes this evening, the sky will be opened for the Christian New Year to begin. With the coming of Christmas, we encounter saying goodbye, following the Gregorian calendar. We are in between the old and the new. But once we enter Lent, we begin to march towards the journey into a new earth, a new beginning, a new year for us. So in actual sense, we have 2 new years in every year. December 25th, life begins to move slowly, and we don't really see it in its fullness until we begin to see spring. Therefore, on Monday, we will celebrate the Spring Festival. Tomorrow, Good Friday, there will be 3 services, 12 noon, 7 p.m., and 11 p.m. All of it Central Time. You know what that means in your local area. 12 noon, 7 p.m., and 11 p.m. in my time, Central Time. Last night, we made one move. Today, we start the high days of celebration. The next 3 days are going to be very, very important to me, because whatever I ask is always granted. I learned that in the year 2000. Jesus said, whatever you ask the Father in my name, the Father will give it to you, and he, Jesus, will also give it to you. So I'm speaking on behalf of the church tonight. That's why I'm wearing this stole. So sometimes during these celebrations, which is still officially part of Lent, I normally wear the blue, or I wear the scarlet, the violet, the purple. Make sure that you take this Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday. Very, very important. These are high and holy days, very high ones. Throughout tomorrow, I will eat nothing, and throughout Saturday, I will eat nothing until the women goes to look for Jesus. I join the women to look for Jesus. Therefore, it will be very, very important that you attend all of the 3 services of tomorrow, Good Friday, and all of the 3 services the same time, 12 noon, 7 p.m., 11 p.m. on Saturday. On Sunday, the 7 a.m. The 7 a.m. service is a drama service. Some of you will be called upon tomorrow to start reading the part you are going to play. You see the one with your name, and that's the part you have to read. The women in our mission are going to look for Jesus early in the morning at 7 o'clock. I made it 7 o'clock so that people will be able to be awake at that time. Normally when I am in a congregation officiating, physically the women will come dressed not in their church outfits, in like their house outfits, and they will come to the door of the church to knock. So the women will be knocking at the door of the church. At the shrine, they will be knocking at the door of the shrine of the Holy Ghost, looking for Jesus. So this is going to be very, very important. Very important service. Normally I keep that service like around 5 o'clock early in the morning, when the women of my church will come with lanterns or with candles. And one of the person that will lead them will be Mary Magdalene, who will come crying and looking for her Lord. They will be knocking at the church doors. I wrote that. It's part of the liturgy that I am giving to the world. It will form part of the way we celebrate Easter. I don't see any other church that does it. I'm very creative. So we will repeat that at 7 o'clock in the morning Central Time, which is 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So tomorrow you will get an email of what you are supposed to read during that morning liturgy of the drama of resurrection. Liturgy of the drama of resurrection. Very, very important to me. It's just like when I'm ordaining bishops and priests and pastors and prophets, they have to physically come to that church where I am doing the ordination. They personally have to knock on the door to be let in. You have to ask for it. So I want us to hear the 2 readings from the Gospels. The first one will be read by Victoria, and the second one will be read by Roslyn. Let's go. Hear ye the gospel of the Lord.
Hallelujah. John 13:21-32. When Jesus had said these things, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, Most assuredly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. Then the disciples looked at one another, perplexed about whom he spoke. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples, whom Jesus loved. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. Then, leaning back on Jesus' and it was night. So, when he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and glorify him immediately." Amen.
Amen.
The second reading is taken from John chapter 13, verses 1 through 17, and 31b through 35. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." Verse 31. When he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." The end of the reading.
Do not forget that we have two services on Sunday. The liturgy of the drama of the resurrection at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then the liturgy of the sacrament of the Word and Holy Communion on Sunday afternoon. It does not mean that because things are easing out a little bit slowly that you should be out there. Please stay indoors. Be safe during these days. Excuse me. Even after Jesus knew that Judas Iscariot was a betrayer, and even after giving him a loaf of bread in the front of everybody, and they knew and they saw it, I think that Judas might have felt himself shamed. We are also told in the story that there was among the disciples one of them that Jesus loved. And we can tell who it was. Excuse me. We can tell that that was John. We can tell that was John. Said not even Peter can ask Jesus straightforwardly who it is that will betray him, that will betray Jesus. Peter has to ask John. Oh my gosh. Roslyn, are you in the conference line? Okay. Peter has to ask John to ask Jesus who is it that is going to betray him. Let me just put this here. We are told that Jesus replied, the one that I will dip this bread and give to. Next thing we hear is that Judas actually received it. And the next thing we hear is Satan entered into him. For the sake of clarification, sometimes you see me try to break these things down a little bit here and there. See, what we are learning is that when someone is bound on doing evil because they've seen the profit that they are going to get from it, they don't really turn back even after being warned not to do that. Even after being shamed, they will still want to go ahead and do what they want to do anyway. The most important word we saw there in that scripture is Satan entered into Judas. Satan entered into Judas. So let's go. When someone is bound, has decided to do evil, many a time you can't stop them. You can preach all you want to preach to them. You can teach all you want to teach them. You can try to persuade them. They will not hear. The African people has an adage or a proverb that says that when the gods and goddesses want to kill somebody, they don't just kill you at once, they make you suffer. And the first thing they do to show you that they want to kill somebody is that to show you that they are bent on destroying that person, they first make that person a mental case. You become a mad person. When we say mad, we don't mean angry we mean really full-blown insanity. They make you a lunatic, insane. And there are some insanity that is simply an invasion. They send a group of demons to invade you, wicked demons to invade and take over your mind. You see, at that point, Judas would have said, no. At least my master knows about me. But since he was bent on evil, then Lucifer has found a target, has found somebody, has found a token, has found someone that could be used and also dispensed, easily thrown out. The issue of Satan is real. But majority of the time, Satan invades people's lives. This one, he says Satan. He did not say demons. He said Satan. Because at this time we are talking about, the Jewish leaders have been making different meetings on how to kill him. And they need somebody who is an insider to show them the way to do it. To help organize it. Then they will fund it. They have the money ready. But they needed an insider. And you see, it wasn't the one that really loved Jesus, wanted to improve their life, which is what our ministry, our mission, and our real physical business is about, is to improve people's lives. I hope you're watching our channels on YouTube to see the new way the videos have been done. You'll see that what we are about is improving people's lives. The lives of human beings need to be improved. Self-improvement. People in power, you need to check them. And people who are in charge of money, you need to check them. Judas was in charge of money, and that gave him tremendous power over the rest of the followers of Jesus. All the checks, money order, and physical cash, they went to him. That tells you something about Jesus. That his 12 disciples were paid staff. They were paid staff. It was not a voluntary service. Because the majority of them were married people. They had children. And it is not the way God does his thing to tell you to abandon his family and follow Jesus. No. So they were paid staff. Those who volunteered were people like Mary Magdalene, Lazarus, Mary, Martha, etc. There were people who volunteered. But the 12 followers, those who were being trained, they were also paid staff so that they can take care of their families. I don't know how many times a month they have to go to their families, because Jesus was not with his disciples all the time. So you have to be aware that going to church with Jesus was not what you do every day. There were some weeks they were not out there. There were some months they were not out there. You read the Bible carefully, you will see everything I'm telling you in the New Testament. There were times that he took vacation and also sent them out for them to take vacation. So Judas was in charge. He was the paymaster and he was the banker. He was the treasurer, the financial treasurer of Jesus' mission. So that tells you how big his mission was. And how much, it tells you also how much people were contributing to him. So that tells you that Jesus was not a poor person. His mission was not a poor mission. It was not a beggarly kind of mission. They live good, they ate good, they dress well, they look good, they have money, they were wealthy people. None of them was broke. So the idea that they paint for you that Jesus was poor, his disciples were beggarly, is wrong. Totally wrong. Can you even imagine? He borrowed Simon Peter's boat to use as a pulpit to teach. Then he turned Simon Peter and his friends into a multi-millionaires by giving them the fish that they have never seen before. And they went and sold it. Put away as much as their families can eat. But they had so much fish that they have to sell and become wealthy. You never heard any of Jesus' disciples or followers sick, dead, except Lazarus, and he brought him back to life. He raised him back to life. None was poor, but there were weak ones among them. Cheap and weak. Not because they didn't have money, like Judas was in charge of money, but because they were greedy. Cheap and weak people are people who are naturally arrogant and greedy. They are greedy for power and they are greedy for money. When you see somebody who's greedy for power, you will see somebody who's greedy for money. Sometimes they are only greedy for money in order to hide their greediness for power. So Judas was bent on doing evil. And he went ahead to do it. And Jesus did not stop him. Because many of you fall into this trap. You warn your son who is 30, 40 years old. Don't sell drugs. Don't pimp women. Don't abuse children. When I mean by abuse, you know what I mean. You correct them with insanity. You beat the hell into them. You don't correct people with kindness. Instead, you beat people physically with your fists or with weapons. You abuse women the same way. You abuse them sexually, you abuse them physically. You destroy their mind, you destroy the mind of your children. Some people abuse their children by sleeping with them sexually. And those things are all wrong. And I can't stand them. That's why I can't stand people not having the good things of this world. I can't stand it. I began not to like pastors since I was young. And one of the reasons was that they were poor people. I'm serious. God is my witness. I hated them. And I told God, if you want me to do this kind of a job, you must make me rich. More than anybody I've seen on earth, I have to be very, very rich because I like good things. I didn't want to look like them. Every day wearing the same old black cassock, the same old black church gowns that we priests wear, we pastors wear. Wear the same big preaching gowns that we wear on Sunday. I didn't want to have anything to do with that. I wanted to wear those things when it was necessary, but I wanted to dress good, looks good, have diamonds and gold, drip with money and gold. Why? Because since I was little, I want to use money to do a lot of good. Because if you are happy, you can do a lot of good things. If you are not happy, you cannot even serve God or worship God properly and in spirit and in truth. Truthfully, you cannot, because you are full of worries. and problems. Money and material resources keep you from those things. It keep you from worrying so that you can focus on what you are doing. Judas had it all. He threw it away. What is 30 pieces of silver to be compared to you handling multi-million bank account for Jesus? What is 30 pieces of silver? Nothing. And he was willing to go that route to betray Jesus just to prove a point. If you go through the psychology of the different disciples of Jesus, only few of them will be checked as normal. In fact, when I began to read the gospel, I realized that somebody like Simon Peter was partially mental case, partially. Some of the disciples of Jesus that you will see are even his secret disciples, like the man whose home they stayed during the Passover tonight or till the day of Pentecost. Remember, that was the same house they were. The upper room that belonged to that man with the pitcher of water. We don't know the man's name. After his resurrection, we began to hear of Cleopas that we've never heard before. Many names began to surface that we've never heard before. So he had a lot of disciples who followed him, who made their lifestyle to follow his pattern and his teachings. We began to hear of Joseph of Arimathea, Nicodemus, all these people, they began to emerge again. Some of them we've never heard of them, some of them we've heard about them a little bit. There are people who have the spirit of betrayal, the spirit of arrogancy. Judas Iscariot was like the politician among them. Peter was like the coward among them. Do you know that from the beginning to the end of Peter's life, he was constantly a coward? Somebody who will say, I'm going with you. When the going is good, he's good. When the going is bad, he flees. So there are so many characters, apart from people like Philip, Nathaniel, especially Andrew. Of all the disciples of Jesus, among the 12 of them, the two that I know were great men. In fact, there are like 3 who were great people of great faith. Was Andrew first. The first disciple of Jesus was Andrew. I mean, someone that we heard some more things about him. There are those that we don't know, so we cannot tell. But we know of Andrew. We know of Philip. Those were people of signs and wonders. Great faith, but quiet. Absolutely quiet. You only see their actions. You don't hear their words. Their words are very few. And I love it. And even Judas Iscariot, you don't hear his words, but you see his actions. But his actions were terrible. Doesn't mean that because somebody is a quiet person that the person is a good person. Andrew, Philip, they were very quiet. But you see that among the disciples of Jesus, there were none that worked great miracles like Philip. There were none that were administrative like Philip. There was none that carried the faith for signs and wonders, including including the gift of bilocation, being in two different places at the same time. I'm telling you the truth. Ability to disappear and appear. That was Philip. And if it is the same Philip, he will be the one who had those girls who were also involved in ministry. That will be the same one who, in spite of the fact that he was an apostle, also came down to the level of being a deacon, of sharing food, social services, all-rounded man, and yet very quiet. But Judas was quiet, but in the circle of the leaders of the Jews, he was a politician. Was he tired of his job? I have no idea. What was it that he hated about the person he followed? I have no idea. Because the Bible doesn't say this. And you do not need to read into what is not said. I couldn't even glean into it. They could not even show me the video or the audio of what was happening. I don't know when they will. And it says Satan entered into him. Satan only entered into people who have made up their mind to do evil. When you have made up your mind to do evil, you become a non-profit organization for Satan. You become a candidate for him to use and to kill and to destroy and throw you away. And a lot of people do not know that that's what basically the devil intends to do to them. Many leaders of organizations, religious leaders, educational leaders, technology, science, medicine, prime ministers, queens, kings, presidents of nations, I can tell you with tears, many of them have invited devils into their life, into their families, into their businesses, and into their nations. The devil does not help people. The devil simply uses people and drop them. And how does he do that? Say, Satan entered into Judas. How did Satan enter into Judas? If Jesus can enter into me and take possession of my physical body, why don't you think that Satan can take control of somebody's personality, and customize it to his use? I'm learning a lot of new IT nuances, tool words. Some of those words I thought I knew them, but they mean something completely different. In the internet technology or internet things, completely different. The devil will customize how he's going to use you based on what you've decided to do, for good or for evil. Just as simple as that. You are inviting the devil by the wickedness that you have manufactured yourself, not the devil who put it in you. You yourself decided it. Because a lot of people will say, the devil made me do it. No, the devil is looking for a worker. And how he chooses his workers is by how much you are bent on doing evil, how much you are bent on gaining profit by evil and for evil. That's what attracts him. When the motive is evil, the devil will seize the person. Why? Because you're already open to evil. And the world of evil and wickedness is his world. That is his passion. Jesus told Judas, go and do whatever you want to do. And go and do it quick. Let's get it over with. How do the devil enter into people? His presence will enter into that person. His presence. The presence of Satan can be in so many people at the same time. The presence of Satan can take over a nation. Because one person, especially the leader, is willing, is ruling them for evil. For example, I don't like the way Modi, is it the president or prime minister of India? Lizzie or Malia, is Modi prime minister or is he president? Where are the Indian people here? Okay. I don't like the way that he's running India. You have to be prepared. You are sending people to go back to their villages. You are declaring, you are shutting India down, but you don't have money to take care of Indian people. I don't like that. I don't want an Indian for Hindus only or for Christians only. I want India for everybody, including those who decide that they are done with religion. So Modi needs to change. If not, when the war will begin, maybe at that time he will be dead. But the seed that he has sown, India will be fighting it out in the years to come. The same thing with different leaders of the world. The seed they are sowing today, the seed of wickedness, is inviting the devil, Satan, to come and take over. See, the word there is Satan, the same word that is used when God was discussing with Lucifer. He called him Satan. Where have you been? The spirit of the devil himself, Satan himself, not demons. His presence can enter somebody. But those who occupy a human being for the devil, the different hierarchies of devils are demons. I want you to be aware of this. Angels of God do not enter into people. Get this from me. Angels of God do not enter people. Demons enter people. The different hierarchy of from Satan down, they can release their spirit, their mind, to possess billions at the same time. You should know this. Same thing. Jesus' presence can enter into billions upon billions of people. Doubt what I say? Go and read how Ahab was killed in the Bible. The meeting that took place in heaven against Ahab. And you will see how one lying spirit took over the prophets of Baal. And they all prophesied that that he should go and win a war. But he did not know that it was a setup. I am here to tell all of you, and this is a warning. Not many of you are opportune, have the opportunity that I have. Not many of you go to the electronic, what is it? Electronic shows of the world like I do, or like I follow them. The ones in Vegas, I go to them quietly. I don't tell anybody. I might tell you that I wasn't there, but I was there. If you went to the electronic show of this year, January this year, in Las Vegas, you will hear the one word. Every car, every cell phone, every landline, every new technology, all they were talking about is going 5G. Go to cnet.com and check out the electronic show that happened in January in Las Vegas for 2020. Go and look it up. Go and check it out. And you will see. 5G was the word. Everyone are going 5G. Number 2, coronavirus is a virus that was not manufactured by chemicals or by biological science, by human beings. Human beings did not go to the lab to manufacture it. They didn't go to the industry to manufacture it. And if anything is telling you anything other than what I'm telling you, ask God to give you a different kind of spirit to see things the way normal human beings should see things. It's a real virus. It's a real bacteria. It's not. I'm talking of if it is. If we were talking about bacteria, bacteria will be a real bacteria. But this one is a virus. It's just like in the month of I think it was December or January. I was coughing so hard till my pain was my chest was paining me. I was having serious migraine headache, and I went to my doctor, Dr. Richardson. He said in my travel that I might have been in the plane, because it started when I was in the plane. From here to Missouri, I started coughing in the plane. Started having a fever. It's when I came back that the doctor said, well, in that plane, in Southwest Airline, in that plane, not that Southwest Airline have problem. They are a good airline. Only that I want them to change their plane from the crappy planes they have. But they are good. They have good services sometimes. He said that I had a bacteria infection. It wasn't chemical. Nobody manufactured the sickness in me from the lab. It's real. First, he treated it with antibiotics. The lady doctor that was deputizing for him while he was gone, but when my doctor came back the following week, he asked me to come in. He said, oh, no, I'm not supposed to have been put on antibiotics. That I need to be put on steroids because it's a bacterial infection in my lungs that need to be cleared up in 7 days. And I took it and bam! Just the first day I took it, gone. But normally I follow my doctor strictly like religion. I finished taking all of it. Never had it till today. Feel good, super good. I've never been healthy like I am these years. Pretty good. Never felt young and looked good like I am. I did not go to pray about it because I know that it's not a prayer thing. I know how to waste God's time than go and ask for such little things. There are things that are too tiny for me to go and be talking to God. It's too minor. I have somebody who can do it for me. I have a doctor. and I feel good. It's not everything that I run to God to go and do, because I'm part of the Trinity, just as you are. I'm part of that family. You have to be aware of this. Any spirit that is telling you that coronavirus is anything other than a real living virus, that spirit is lying to you, and those human beings are lying to you. These are real. You've seen the number of people who have died. It's not an industrial made chemical that became what is it? Koro. African people are calling it Koro. Corona. People from Jamaica are calling it 19. So don't become number 20. Where Rosalind read tonight, Jesus showed what a great leader is. A great leader is a servant. Many of you sometimes get offended that some of the people who are my partners, that when we have a conference call or programs or a church service and I ask for questions, I raise a question that only 1 or 2 or 3 people talks. And you may not like them. But I have watched many people. You come to our programs and a question that has nothing to do with the Bible, but the world out there that you have had experience about. You've had experience about it. You don't want to say nothing. So Mary do all the talking. Victoria, for what she knows, because Victoria does not talk. She keeps silent only because she's not into that. She's not exposed to it. If she knows, she will speak. And she will speak with facts and not believe or make believe. The rest who speak at least have what we call Ivy League intelligence, which means they've been exposed, they've allowed themselves to, they've exposed themselves to how the world really works. That's why don't be angry at and don't be jealous of Rosalind and think that she is too controlling, she's too powerful. That's the kind of person that I want. That's why I have her in my life and mission. If I'm looking for something on mortgage, on certain serious banking procedure, who do you think I should go to first? Before I go to my bank, she and I will have the discussion first. Don't be envious of her. Be proud of what she has. Her brain, her mind matters. You can't buy it. I can't buy it with gold or diamond. Don't be envious of Mary, because I can't buy her. She's priceless. Mary, are you there?
Sure.
Good.
Sure I am.
Good. Do not be envious of Nancy. Because if I need anything that has to do with nursing, medicine, she's the first. I can't buy her with money. If I lose her, I may not be able to get somebody like that. They are nurses, but I may not be able to have this kind again in history. It will never be repeated. She's not these people I'm mentioning are not limited edition. They are the only edition. Don't be envious of Samantha or of Vivian. or of Shante. I'm talking of people who speaks constantly when question or discussion, like discussing breaking news, come up, or love things. I have put up a lot of romantic love line, and you see only few people are willing to discuss sex. People are willing to discuss money, are willing to discuss bedroom, how to set up a bedroom, all kind of stuff. Things that people, you think that people know, they don't know. That's why we are a library to improve people's lives if they want it. Sometimes Barbara contributes. Sometimes, if it is the area. Barbara, are you there? Good. If it is the area that she is knowledgeable about, you see her contribute. She will say a few things. If it is the area that she knows so much into, you will see by her voice how passionate she is. Same thing with Diane. In the area in which she is very good at, you'll see how excited she is. The rest, they won't even send me email to say, okay, we'll continue the conversation after the program. None. So when you call me to complain, oh, these people, they talk too much, they are too overpowering and all of that, I'm not going to listen to you, because I wanted you to be in there. One thing I tell people is, if you have a job, don't resign from your job. It's a serious, it's a deadly thing. Do not resign from your job. Unless you got something better, don't stay there. You cannot change it. You cannot change a company. You cannot change religion. I mean, if they allow you, unless you are an insider. I will never leave the Presbyterian Church, because that's my church. I was born into it by birth, by inheritance. That's where I belong. That's why I understand when people will tell you, you tell people to change from being a Jewish religion to Christian religion. They tell you they can't, and they tell you the reason. Change from being a Buddhist or a Hindu, or from being, what do you call it, a Muslim. And they give you the reasons. Money is involved. Material resources involved. And they will tell you, I will become a Christian quietly, but I will remain in my religion. And of course, that's how Elijah and Elisha, that's how they deal with foreigners who believe in other religion. They minister to them, they allow them to remain in their religion and their culture. Because will you be able, if that person was a multi-billionaire and was a custodian of that money for their society, when they become members of your religion and you move them, can you take care of them? That's one thing people don't think about. Can you provide them the same kind of luxury that they used to have when they belong to the other religion and culture? People don't think about these things. You just want to celebrate. They are now Christians, or they are now Muslim. Oh, we've been able to convert a Christian to become a Hindu or a Buddhist. What about money and material resources that they are going to leave behind because of religion or culture? Will you be able to take care of them? Will you be able to help them stand on their feet and still have the same quality of life without you complaining after a day or two? Don't let anybody convert you into anything. Stand your ground. Don't let anybody celebrate winning you over into their church, from one church to the other to the other. You don't need that. You are bigger than that. Judas had the best of religion. Jesus was their religion, right there in front of him. Yet he was willing to sell him for 30 pieces of silver. Judas' character was like the character of Satan. The same Satan whose presence found Judas willing to do a dirty job. If you want to be dirty, dirty people gonna play ball with you. Please know that. Write that down for me. If you want to be dirty, D-I-R-T-Y, T like Tom, Y like yellow. If you want to play dirty, if you want to be dirty or play dirty, well, dirty things and dirty people and dirty spirits or beings will come to play with you. And they will come to play dirty with you. And that's what he decided to do. How many people out there in the world who are watching this broadcast, you got the best and you throw it away? I'm giving you an opportunity to change. There are men, no matter the quality of woman they marry, they will still go out there to go and mess with women who are not even at the class, not even little of the class near where the wife is. And some men complain the wife doesn't know how to sex, the wife doesn't know how to take care of a man, and so on. So when you started running around her before you married her, why did you not put her through Idika Imeri's marriage school? For me and our girls to coach them. There is nobody I have that I have enlisted in the marriage school, even if they don't even know that they are to be coaches with me, because I'm going to be coaching them after Easter. People like Roslyn, Vivian, Mary, Nancy, Victoria, Shante. People like Samantha. These are people who have experience of life. They are not going to be talking only from the Bible. They have experiences. You think that they are just girls. There's no experience you're ever going to get in life that they don't have. They have not experienced. I am the same way. I don't want greed to move you. I don't want greed. I don't want arrogancy. I don't want anger. I don't want hatred to be the passion that moves you. So Judas wanted to be like Jesus. Did he want Jesus killed? Then he can keep the money for himself and fight the rest of the disciples? Or maybe he can play the trick. I'm going to sell him, but you guys don't know him, I know him. When the time comes for you guys to catch him, he will disappear. Maybe that's what he was thinking. That he can betray Jesus behind the scene and be collecting money, using Jesus' name to collect money. And they couldn't, who even know how many times he has done this kind of things? Of saying that he's going to betray him to them. Who knows how many groups he has done this? And during this Passover, the Son of God was the Lamb of God. This was not a time to play hide and seek. And Judas found himself getting caught in his own act. You will hear from tomorrow what happened to Judas. What happened to people like that? Because if you think that you can play dirty, those who play dirty gonna use you. Please write it down. If you think that you can play dirty, those who play dirty gonna use you. And they will dump you. I remember this story of this guy who think he can always give people fake money. and people came and bought something very, very important from him. And they gave him a suitcase full of fake $100 words. He was very happy he got it. The people drove the car and left town. Their name, everything they gave him was fake. Social Security was fake. You want to play dirty? You're going to attract dirty people. They're going to use you and dump you. Long after many days, they were gone. The car he was selling them was a car that he himself and his group stole. See? There is I don't know whether Vivian still have that saying. There's a saying in Barbados about a thief stealing from a thief. I've forgotten how that is said. I don't know whether Rosalind will remember it.
Yeah, a thief from a thief makes God laugh.
Is that Rosalind?
Yeah.
Good. When a thief steals from a thief, it makes God laugh. I can't. That is so good. You know what I'm just saying? It's like when I see a thief stealing from a thief, I see God light up a very long pipe and ask for the goblet of wine to be brought for him to drink and enjoy. It's just like a little illustration in a children's story. You know that's not true, but it's like, light up my pipe of Cuban cigar or tobacco and get me that Cuban rum. Let's laugh. When a thief steals from a thief, it makes God laugh. That's interesting. So they stole a car, and those who played it, he also came and buy it from them and gave them a briefcase, a black briefcase full of $100. And they have to keep the money for a while. Then they came together after a few days to share it. So they share and they all were gone. And that is how they were all caught by the FBI. Because one was caught with fake money at a Walmart. And then during the investigation, he didn't want to go in alone. So he started ratting out the other people. And that's how they got them. And they went to their homes and discovered the money. At this time, the thief that has stolen from the thieves, making God laugh, they were long gone with the car. Tell me about it. Jesus has shown us from what Rosalind read tonight and from what Victoria read tonight that to be a leader requires a lot of tolerance. If you are going to be, leadership starts from moms. Many a time mothers think that fathers are the greatest. Since they are fathers, they are the leaders of the family. You are joking. The real leaders of families are mothers. Who carries the baby in the womb? Who nurses and nurtures the babies? Who carries the gift of nurture? Not the man, but the woman. That's why when you find a good woman, a good girl, you can't buy it with money. Being a leader means stooping down to show example. My father will never tell me to do something. He will ask me to join him to do it. That's how I learn quickly on leadership. Join me and see what kind of medicine we are selling for malaria, for dysentery, for cholera, for measles, for TB. You know, that's how I know all those shots. That's why all those shots are inside my body. 2 years ago, I went to the health department. I told them I need all my shots. Go through the list and see which one is outdated. And I got like 15 shots in one day. I told them I need all of it. I want to have it all in my body. If something happened to me, my body will be able to repay itself. There's a lot that happens in a human's body. Jesus showed them the way to leadership is the way of service. Every service Jesus gave was not free. A lot of his services were also given to people who were his personal friend and not acquaintances. People he considered like family. And there were many from different class and background, but one thing all of them have was they were generous to the rabbi, to Jesus. And that's what I'm praying to have such. More should come to us. Because you cannot raise, you cannot do a global corporation or a global mission based on the poor. You can't. And God is my witness, the Holy Ghost is my witness. I do not want to use poor people to enhance my status or to make money off them. You'll become what we call a poverty pimp. You go into a poor neighborhood, poor race, poor country to use them to put more feathers on your certificate, on your job experience. And everybody is clapping for you that you are doing something for them. At the end of the day, nothing. That's why a lot of the countries out there went to China. Because China do not talk. You don't really hear much from them. I'm serious. 90% of the time you will not hear anything from China. They are building quietly. That's how I want you to be with me. I want those of you who are leaders, those of you who are moms and fathers, those of you who are raising the next generation, the Victorias, the Marys, the Samanthas, the Anne, my great girl, all of you. Malia, you on the line? Malia is raising the next generation. See it as a service to humanity. Do it with generosity and kindness. And sometimes you may not have the reward immediately. If you say you love, it's going to be proven. Your love is going to be tested by service. Write that down for me, please. That's a powerful key. Your love is going to be tested by service. It's very easy for us to do all this drama every year and tell people the story of Jesus, and we forget the real thing. The real thing behind the story of tonight, of Jesus washing the disciples' feet, Satan entering into Judas, all these things is simply to tell you one thing. Your life needs improvement in so many ways. You deserve a bigger and a better life. I see God healing sick people from different parts of the world tonight. There is somebody, you lost your wallet It's filled with your IDs, your driving license. For some reason, you have a driving license from one state and you have an ID. I don't know why. That's the person that I'm seeing. I'm looking at your wallet that got lost. And I'm going to tell you where to go and find it. It also contains, you have like, I think it's 300. I can only see two popping out, but there is one behind those two. It's like 300 of euro or $300. You lost those things. Your social security number card is there. I don't know why you don't have a photocopy of that and kept the original at home. Okay. Little kids were gathering wild spring flowers and they saw your wallet. You went jogging this morning and your wallet fell off because you were busy talking on the phone while you were running. You were jogging. You didn't feel it. You didn't notice it. The two little kids gave it to their mom. Their mom has taken it to the police station. That is where it is. So if you go there, you'll be able to find it. Also, your bank card is there. There is a card. The person I'm talking to look like this. I think you shuttle between Europe and the United States. That's why I'm looking at the money you have there. So actually, this is what it is. You have 200 euro, and what is behind the 200 is $100. Now I understand. Now I got it. Now I see the reason why you have a driving license, euro, and you have an ID from America. I got it. I got it. They are trying to trace who you are and where you live so as to find a number to call you and make contact with you. So go and get it. There is something else I saw in your wallet. There is a Wells Fargo card, debit card, and there is another, there's a credit card, but it's not in the English language. It's not. So that might be a Euro, somewhere in Europe. So go and get your card back. During this week, beginning from tonight, I'm going to ask God to begin to cancel uncommon debt. If I have told you that I'm going to be calling you to write a certain letter for your debt to be canceled, just be rest assured that I'm going to do that beginning from tonight. I'm going to pray and it will be canceled. Then I will dictate the letter and then you will send it in. So that's going to happen. Because during the Christian New Year, debt will be canceled. You have to know this for a fact. Debt will be canceled big time. So make sure you ask for debt cancellation, because I see a lot of people rejoicing because you are getting a letter that your debt has been forgiven. They've let it go because they are saying it's of no use for us. So even those who bought your debt from another company, they are willing to let it go. It's gonna go in as one of those things that they lost, but they will put it in for tax. That's just what it is. So you're gonna see that happen to you. There is somebody you've not been able to move your neck around like this from the from the right to the left or from the left to the right. You've not been able to move it. Your neck is in a cast. It started last summer when you went diving. And that is how something got broken around your neck. In the name of Jesus, I have been told to bring healing to you, and it is done. There is a particular man, for some reason, and I want you to be aware that I know. Every car you've bought, it doesn't take 6 months, something will break down. And the car will have to be parked. There is a curse following you. You had a divorce. You did a woman terribly wrong. She did not go to cry out to God. She went and cried out to the mermaid. Because that is what they worship in their culture. You knew about it and you laughed about it. She put a curse on you. And that's the reason why you can't keep a job. That's the reason why you can't even keep male friends. You don't have friends. If anybody come into your life for some reason, they leave you. Also, let me share one thing that is happening to you, and this is also happening to about 4 women and about 5 or 6 or 7 more, at least 7 more extra men. For some reason, you woke up one morning and you discover that you have body odor. And no matter what perfume you put on, you spray, no matter what cologne, no matter how strong, after about an hour, it wears off. It's supposed to last for the whole day. And the body odor will come out of your mouth, your ears, and God knows where. You received a curse. People do not know that certain things that happen to them is coming because of a curse. Something will stick into you. We call it sticking in. Someone that you wronged stick something into you. And that's what you're dealing with. There are some of you that I'm talking to, you have gone to many doctors to find out why you are having a body odor and nobody knows. I'm healing you tonight. There's one particular person that your father-in-law told you that he warned you not to marry his son, and you refused. He turned his back after the wedding and he cursed you. And that is why you've never had any. In fact, you've tried to normalize things with him and his family. It has not been possible. They hate you. They told you, since you want their son, you can take their son and go. But it will never be well with you. This is interesting. The last person that I'm ministering to, you are a world leader. You are a president of a nation. And I'm not gonna mention which nation. I'm just gonna be smart here. I've been given the gift of wisdom to deal with this kind of situation. You are laughing at another world leader who is in the hospital. And I hear you boasting and telling your staff that he is weak. That's why he is in intensive care. And I saw a group of people laughing at you because a meeting has been held against you. You don't know it. It will come swiftly and quickly. What I saw in the book against you is very bad, because they weigh you in the scale, and the scale did not stand in a balance. Your evil is 80%, and your good is 20%, so you are no good. I see about 7 leaders of the world who fits in this, and I see their subject. Subject is other president and prime minister who are under these 7 world leaders. Remember, this is about 7 world leaders, and the rest of the leaders are under these 7. I asked recently for a particular kingdom to stop going to war against a very poor country. They've given it up now. This was done yesterday. And they are doing it because they don't really have money anymore. Very soon, the AP and Reuters are going to announce that the particular people that we thought had a lot of money, they are in the red. They have gone through very bad recession. What they rely on for money is no longer what is making money for them. And they have been lavishing their money all these years. So now it's coming back to bite them. They will also start selling off their investments, because the world is going to be made poor, so that those who really have to be in charge of riches for good will have to be in our generation. The reason why this is so is because some of us have been burned. We have been burned by a woman into this earth, B-O-R-N. A woman has brought us forth, and our mothers have cried out to God to do something with their sons. That's why this is happening. Do not watch Wall Street. Do not watch Japan. Don't watch them. Do not watch London. Don't watch them. They don't have no answer for what I'm talking about. Do not watch the Arab world. They're in trouble. A lot of African countries will collapse. People of God, the prophetic conference has started. So you're going to see a lot of prophecies coming throughout from today till Easter, till the festival of spring is over. The prophecy conference has started. I don't normally ask for it until I see it in motion. A lot of African countries are going to collapse. There's going to be shortage of food in Jamaica. There's going to be shortage of food in Haiti. There's going to be shortage of food in the little islands, including the Bahamas. I have been told to bless the 2 ladies that are running Barbados. There's a regret that will come to Britain. The British people are going to regret something that they have done. And Britain will be divided. Not that they are going to be 2 separate nations, but the opinions of people in Britain, the same people who voiced that they wanted things this way, is going to change. A curse has been put on the economy of the world. A very big curse has been put on the economy of the world. The world economy is not going to be the same anymore. The Lord has asked me to tell all of you out there that it shall not be well with the wicked. Also, beginning tonight,
Yay.
heaven has been sealed against certain people. So anyone who pray for them will fall. Anyone who support them will fall. This will also be, today is the beginning of the fall of many mega pastors. Because God has spoken to me and said, they have fed fat on the back and on the sufferings of my people. They have not done anything to make at least 80% of their church members or of their mosque, of their temple, shrines, and synagogues to become knowledgeable in what is right, to put aside their political affiliation, their fears, their greed, their hatred. Some people have used it to their advantage to make money. God said money is power, but every money is not power. Every money is not power. Beginning from tonight, the days of the drama of the women will begin, because the women are going to rise up from tonight and they are going to demand certain things from their leaders. They are going to ask for things that were hidden from them, and their sons and daughters shall join them. The Lord has asked me to make known to all of you that the elections that will happen from now, from henceforth, for the next 7 years to the next 15 years, is an open heaven for women, and that women are going to decide who shall run a country, who shall run a bank, who shall run a university or college, who shall run the clinics, the hospitals, the pastors, because mothers and their daughters are tired of fathers and brothers running the show. A lot of people will be released out of prison in different countries of the world, including America, because there will be no money to run prisons. The days of gun violence is going to begin. There will be a negotiation that will begin secretly, and we will not hear about the talks about gun for a very long time, because there will be checks and balances in place. Many things are going to change because many people and many nations are going to be broke. And in the days of being broke is when they will start to think. God is saying I should tell all of you that He knows what He is doing, and that the last 7 years He put an exam. He gave a test to the nations. He gave a test to the families. He gave a test to the states. He gave a test to nations. He gave a test to institutions. He gave a test to states, and they failed. He says that 97% of the tests he gave, they all failed. What worries God more than anything? Not that He's worried about it. He laughs about it. is the punishment that he's going to exercise against leaders that he has been warning. And they will not listen. It's a big punishment that is coming. He said you should watch out, because the voices you used to see on TV, the voices of leaders will be silent. A new generation of Democrats have emerged, and a new generation of Republicans have emerged. It will take the next 7 years to create in them what is needed to change a nation. He said, I should let all of you know that you should not rush for a change. Go slowly if you want the change to be strong. I've also been instructed to let you know that there have been many of you who have been told to put money aside, because you are going to be faced with opportunities to buy other people's businesses. Because a lot of people are going to be tired. The spirit of tiredness has entered into nations and into people. And you're going to need to flourish at the time that others will be tired. Now hear the good news. There is a spirit of change. And this change has to do with God's name among us. Jehovah Miracles. Thus saith the Lord, the makers of the heavens and the earth, I will begin to take you to the nations. I will begin to take you to places where you've been struggling to be or to go. You've been struggling to become socially relevant, to be discovered. And God said that those days where you were waiting for somebody to raise you up are over, because I've sent you workers. I've sent a voice to speak on your behalf. I've sent a hand to write on your behalf. I've sent people to carry you and to put you on the throne that you deserve. He said you should not put the crown on your own head. He has sent people to crown you. They're going to come for you. They're going to raise you up. They're going to contribute money and material resources to you. The sovereign Lord has asked me to tell you not to look at the recession, not to look at the desperation, but to look at the change. And He's doing it for you. He said I should tell you this, that He will never play any more games. That when people sit and deliberate how to do evil and carry it out, that He, the sovereign Lord, will also sit and calculate how to carry out evil against them. And when people sit and calculate how to do good, that He's going to sit down and calculate how to be good to them. I've been instructed to inform you that every good things you've done for the last 30 years, up to the last 30 years, 30 years, 20, 10, 5, etc. He knew that you cannot do your own harvest. He said, I have released a group of angels who are called the harvesters to come to earth, to bring from heaven and to harvest from the earth for you. Keep yourself from arrogancy. Keep yourself from what makes human to be sent to hell, even though they are born again. There are many of you who are honestly suffering and you don't know why. The Lord said, the chicken that hatched out of the egg and has been running about will be put back inside the egg and vanish, and everything will go away also. He said, many good things, many miracles will begin to happen to you of their own. And that is how you know He is the one who is involved for you. He said, there are many of you who are at home. You don't have a job. He said, I will give you more money than you had a job. But that does not mean that you should not be working. But if there is none, you will still be having even far more, because the harvesters are there. There will be some of you, your parents are going to go home because a voice is calling them in heaven to come home. Let them go when they start asking for it. God has asked me to prepare me to start adjusting some of you for your parents. I know those of you who are going to go through that, but I'll never tell you. They will not go because of Corona. Some of them will not go this year, some may. But it is not time to cry, it's time to celebrate what they have passed on to you. God said, I should warn you never to take the going away of anybody in your family, especially the elderly ones who are in their 80s, 90s, and 100s. He does not want to see you join the world to call death upon yourself and upon the living, getting the dead confused. In the name of that, you love them. There are many of you who, beginning this year, will become the inheritors of everything of your families, because you are thinking that your brothers and sisters are going to fight over those things. They're going to have a meeting and say, you should own the house, you should take over the car, you should take over everything. Why? Because even though you are senior, God said I should tell you that they are going to treat you like their baby. That is the word of the Lord. But every meeting we'll be having from tonight, when we'll be having a vigil tonight, remember, all the way till Monday, they are all prophetic services. Now let me add one more thing that I've been told to tell you. Many of you will be settled this year. People are going to sell you houses for cheap, because people are going to flee certain states. There will be a lot of confusion. There will be states that will not allow others to come into that states. There will be divisions in nations. Old wounds will come back. All suspicions will come back. But in the midst of this, focus on making money and creating wealth. You will soon begin to hear of nations rising up against their leaders. God said I should warn you not to get involved, because you've already known what the outcome is going to be. So while the sky will be blocked against the prayers and the actions of many, the same sky will be opened on your behalf. Because of the blessing that you will receive, many people will hate you, especially also from your families. God said I should tell you, if you are of African ancestry and people of African ancestry don't like you, God said I should tell you that you don't belong there in the first place. If you are of European ancestry and they don't like you, God said I should tell you you don't belong there in the first place. Or Asian ancestry, if they hate you, you don't belong there. Look at the other cultures. Everything God has given to you is scattered among the cultures. And the harvesters, it is their job to go and gather it up and bring it to you. I will make you enjoy life. It is not based on the fact that you worship me. It is based on the fact that you want me. It is also based on the fact that I've made a covenant with your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and that Jesus came and made a covenant once and for all of you. He is the embodiment of our ancestors. Because you've laid your hand in his hands, the days of your passion is here. I'm going to ask what that means. Say, the days of your passion is here. I got it. Say, your passion for achievement has returned. Because for many of you, you are confused. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to put anything into action. He says, the days of your passion is here. Good night. I'll see you at 11 o'clock. What is the time now? It is what? 8:53. Okay. So I will see you guys at 11 o'clock my time for another prophetic conference. And that one will be a holy hour. Bye-bye. Everyone afraid now because everybody see, that's why the way I prophesy is different, because we didn't think of it. You know, I don't go there unless they decide to come for me and take me there. So that's it. And when it start coming like this, well, I see everybody living quietly, you know. God. That's interesting. Nobody is saying nothing. Nobody is shouting. Everybody are just like quiet. Woo. Ah.